Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. In the show today, a new technology could save lives on the road, and our guest talks about his trip to Everest Base Camp as disaster hit the mountain. But first, here's Richard Morris with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, centralising stroke services in our area is getting closer and closer, and a nation remembers those who we lost in the First World War. A decision to centralise various hospital services is one step closer after the results of a huge public consultation were released. Hyper-acute stroke services ceased at Grimsby's Hospital last November after being criticised by inspectors during the KEO review, and the Hospital Trust temporarily centralised services at Scunthorpe General. The Trust also wants to move all ear, nose and throat services to Grimsby Hospital. Currently, patients are seen at Grimsby and Scunthorpe with outpatient clinics at Goole, Louth and Mablethorpe. The report says feedback has been broadly supportive of their preferred options, but admitted people in North East Lincolnshire are concerned about the loss of hyperacute stroke services at Grimsby. However, the Trust maintains that services have improved since being centralised and said they'll look into providing better transport links for those needing to travel to Scunthorpe. Estuary Hall in the East Riding are appealing for volunteers. The hall recently reopened after a major restoration and is now once again welcoming visitors. The different projects people could get involved with include offering daily tours, recording display items and developing the My Estuary archive. Volunteers will also have special access to the collections and the objects on loan to the hall by other famous museums, including the V&A in London. Anyone who's interested is encouraged to contact the East Riding of Yorkshire Council. North Lincolnshire Council are reminding residents that they are eligible for free flu jabs. If you meet certain criteria, then you are encouraged to take the jab. If you are 65 or over, if you are in a clinical risk group, pregnant, age 2, 3 or 4, in long-stay residential homes or a carer, then you're eligible. If you are unsure if you do qualify, then it's worth contacting your GP, who will analyse the situation. Those over 18 and at risk can just go along to a participating pharmacy if it is difficult to see your GP. Police are appealing for information after a handbag was snatched in Waltham. On Ashbourne in the village, a woman was walking her dog at 9:30 in the morning on Friday when she stopped to pick something up. As she did, the woman was approached and the bag was pulled from her shoulder, causing her to fall to the ground. The alleged thief then got away from the scene on a bike. He's described as being 5'6", late teens, early 20s and of slim build. Anyone with any kind of information is asked to contact Humberside Police. The bag did contain some cash. Forces from around the country are gathering on a Flixborough industrial estate this week to learn about pioneering new technology. The Cube project is a new system which will help police extract data easily from crash scenes and decrease the amount of time they spend at scenes, and works alongside traditional forensic investigations. Humberside Police trialled the system from 2010 to 2012, and forces as far away as Guernsey are wanting to use the technology. Martin Clune outlined what the visiting forces will experience with the Cube.
Absolutely. Mr. Rosted has coordinated this along with his colleagues, and several police forces will arrive tomorrow, and they will get to see a physical demonstration, a practical, and more importantly, they will learn about the support and what the data means, how they can interpret it, what does it mean for court, how valuable is it, and validation and the forensic element. They will learn all about this tomorrow.
Yesterday, across the country, the nation fell silent as we remembered those who we lost in the First World War. This year was particularly poignant as it was 100 years since the start of World War I. As we leave today's bulletin, we'll end with footage collected from our reporters across our area. Bye for now.
And all who lived and died in the service of their country and mankind.
Thank you, Richard, and it was wonderful to see how many people turned out across the region to remember the fallen. Now, next on the show, Homicide Police are driving forward with a brand new technology that could revolutionise the way emergency services deal with traffic collisions. And all they need to use it is a tablet and a small Bluetooth receiver. Dave Nunn went to find out more about the Cube.
Humberside Police have been paving the way for new technology which will drastically change the way the police deal with traffic collisions and car crashes. This new technology is called the Cube project.
Yeah, the Cube project, it was an innovation developed by the Netherlands police force. It's a forensic tool set to image data from vehicles that have been involved in a serious collision or serious crime. And the Cube technology was forensically validated by the Netherlands Forensic Institute. We carried out a lot of extensive testing and validation. The Cube project, it's a solution to real problems.
The Cube is made up of a tablet computer and a wireless Bluetooth receiver, which plugs into a port put into every car made after 2005. This receiver connects to a small onboard computer in the car. It's the first time it's been used in the UK.
It's a forensic solution to actual problems every day. Up to now, the police and law enforcement authorities never had such technology to image data from vehicles like this technology. So, in one hand, it's used in many different areas, and it's a forensic tool set to read data from vehicles.
With concerns about the cost of this kit to a stretched police force, investors and testers of this technology say the benefits far outweigh the €8,000 cost of the Cube.
Yeah, several reasons. One is specifically we talk about crash accident investigation. Most of the time the police are under pressure to discover the speed of impact and some actions that the driver may have carried out. In terms of closing a road for several hours, that can cause economic damage. And the speed, once they know the speed, along with traditional investigation, they can close the road quicker. And the second thing is, of course, it's in most cases the mission to find out who is guilty. And the Crash Cube is a forensic tool which is used along with traditional investigation.
And it's not just the police who benefit. Testers say that being able to recover this data at scenes of accidents means that roads could be opened quicker after accidents, and ambulance crews could tailor care to patients depending on details of the crash.
Main benefits are several. As I said, several people will benefit from this faster reduction in opening investigation cases, opening of roads, trauma teams, surgeons and doctors. It's very often the case when the person who has been injured, that the surgeon would like to know the speed of the collision, whereas if they know the speed straight away, they can predict which injuries they may have and so forth.
The Cube aims to revolutionise the way police deal with car crimes and traffic incidents, and it's all been tested in the UK by Humberside Police, and now other police forces want to roll it out across the country. Estuary TV News.
Thank you, Dave, and I'm sure anything that can make the roads safer can't be a bad thing. Now, next on the show, my guest is Jason McCusker. He's a policeman turned mountain climber who recently took a trip to Everest Base Camp to raise money for St Andrew's Hospice. But he couldn't have picked a worse time to do it as surprise blizzards struck the mountain. More than 30 people are thought to have died. Hello, Jason. Thank you very much for coming in.
Pleasure.
So tell me, when was it that you went?
We flew out on the 1st of October, flew back on the 22nd of October.
And I went to meet you beforehand, and it took a lot of preparation, didn't it?
Yeah, an awful lot. I did a lot of training, trying to get my cardio and get my fitness level up. I knew it would be difficult anyway.
Because, of course, you never know what can happen when you get there with altitude sickness and the like.
No, that's right, yeah.
So, obviously, you got there. What was the first thing you did?
When we landed, we got settled in at the hotel in Kathmandu, prepared for the flight out to Lukla, which, I don't know if you know, is classed as the most dangerous runway in the world. So
wow. There's quite a lot of crashes there then? Yeah,
there's a fatality. Last fatality was 2008.
Right. And presumably it's in quite a remote spot?
Yeah, it's right in the mountains, so the air's so thin that the RPM of the engine of the plane is lower. There's turbulence, and the start of the runway is just a 2,000-foot drop, and then the end of the runway is just a mountain face. So wow. You've got to hit it really.
So what was that land like?
Scary. Yeah, it was. It was. People were a bit wary about it, a bit worried.
But I mean, obviously you landed, and then presumably it begins.
Yeah, I mean the first 4 days it was about 22 degrees, so we used a lot of sun cream really, which was surprising. We thought we needed hats and gloves, but it was quite warm for the first 4 or 5 days.
And what was it like physically?
a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. A lot more dangerous. It's just a mountain trek. It's just narrow enough for 2 or 3 people, or one person in a yak coming the other way, really.
And who were you with? Who took you up the mountain?
When we got to Kathmandu, we met a group of 8 other people. So there was 9 of us in our group who joined the same company, experienced the Himalayas, and we met our Sherpa guides who took us up there, Tanka and Ninja.
And these are Nepalese people
Yeah.
who are trained mountaineers, essentially.
Yeah, and they know the route. They do it 30 times a year.
And good guys?
Yeah, they were really good, really good, and they put everybody at ease really with the dangers and this, that, and the other. They were really good.
Because presumably everyone's a novice.
Yeah, the people who do it like I did for Everest Base Camp, it's not something that experts would do. They would want to go to the summit of Mount Everest, but for people like me who are novices, they were ideal. It was a great experience really. It was epic when we got there.
So obviously, you had the first 4 days, which was quite pleasant, but while you were there, something quite horrific happened.
Yeah, Cyclone Hudhud. We didn't know about it as much until we got back really. It was bad weather when we got there. It hit base camp the afternoon before we got there. And the Sherpas were umming and ahhing whether we're still going to go. But we went anyway. We got to -10. It was a blizzard, you couldn't see much. People were falling, slipping and sliding, and some people had to be carried back, to be honest.
Now obviously, there were a number of deaths in the region because these unexpected blizzards sort of hit the mountain, and there are reports of an avalanche as well. Did you see any of the results of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, although the main cyclone hit a different area, we still got hit by rock slides and avalanches. On us, we had the blizzards. There was a lot of injuries. I fractured my cheekbone with the rock slides.
And what did that look like to you when you're going up the mountain?
What, the rock slides and the avalanches and everything? Yeah. It's scary because you can't do anything about it. There's a rock slide. You've just got you get up to the rock face and you cower down to prevent any further injury than anything you've already got. Because by the time you've heard it and seen it, one of them's going to have hit you anyway, which is what happened.
And so what, the rocks are coming down?
Rocks coming down. There was a Japanese woman about 10 foot behind me, got hit right on the head, nearly knocked off the cliff, which was a 300-foot drop. But they managed to save her from falling off the edge of the cliff, but her head burst open, there was blood everywhere. And she had to be stretchered and carried for 2 hours to the next village so the helicopter could come in and take her out.
And I bet witnessing something like that sort of really changes your perceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ex-British Forces, so I'm a bit more used to it than some of the other people who were on there who were really novices, and there was a lot of the girls who were getting upset, and it was a lot more dangerous than I thought it was going to be. But
obviously, you weathered the storm.
Yeah.
And you did make
literally.
it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. When we got to base camp, and there was hugs and people were crying and high fives, and like I say, it was epic. We had some photographs taken. But the blizzard was hit there, just as we got there, was the hardest it had hit. And like I say, it got down to about -10. So it was pretty cold.
But I bet in many ways, having that extra hardship made it all the more satisfying when you got to the top.
Yeah, it did. It made it worthwhile. We'd done something there. Yeah. We'd got through rock slides, avalanches, and we'd made it to base camp. And
2 or 3 words, the feeling when you were there at the base camp?
Epic and life-changing.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done, and you raised an awful lot of money for
St
Andrew's Hospice as well, didn't you?
About £3,000 so far.
Excellent news. All right, thank you very much for coming in
You're
today.
welcome.
I'm afraid that is all the time we've got in today's show. But don't forget, if you've got any stories, you can get in touch with us by phone on 01472 315553. Email us on news@estuary.tv. Bye for now.